Alrighty, next game up here is the Vikings at the Panthers, and folks. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, folks. Can we just start with him? Can we just start with Sam Darnold? Absolutely atrocious. I will give him one green flag right here, and it was a great green flag. It was absolutely fantastic. But on the final drive, it was a final drive here by this Panthers team before overtime. And Sam Darnold goes on an 11-play, 96-yard drive to tie up the game with a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. So I will give Sam Darnold a lot of credit. He also picked up multiple fourth downs here. 4th and 10 on this potential game-tying drive. He had a 41-yard pass absolutely on the money on 4th and 10. And then on another 4th down right here, 4th and 6, he goes for 25 yards. So picking up 2 fourth downs. Absolutely fantastic to tie up the game. Unfortunately, they don't get the ball in overtime and they lose. But let's go back to Sam Darnold. And I know his receivers were not helping him out a little bit. But, I mean, this is what we see from Sam Darnold all the time. Poor completion percentage when he doesn't have, like, all these weapons, to his, disposal. No Christian McCaffrey over these last 3 weeks. And they've lost every single game. Because Sam Darnold didn't need to kind of win him the game. They could just go to Christian McCaffrey in the running game and the passing game. So Sam Darnold was never in charge of truly winning the team the game. Now these last 3 weeks, he has to win them the game himself because they don't. Chuba Hubbard's good, but he's no Christian McCaffrey because there's nobody like Christian McCaffrey. So Sam Darnold has to win the game himself here, and he's not doing it. So he's exactly who we think he is, just nothing great out here. So Sam Darnold goes 17 of 41, folks. 17 of 41. Do you know how atrocious that is? It's 41%. It's absolutely abysmal. And I understand the receivers were not doing him any favors, but at some point, you've got to start being 100% accurate. Your leadership qualities must come out and start demanding some catches out here, getting the team up, getting the spirits right. And Sam Darnold, have we ever seen any good leadership from Sam Darnold? Have I ever seen a fist pump out of Sam Darnold? Have I ever seen him kind of coaching up his guys on the sideline? I don't think we've ever seen that, folks. So please spare me with, everybody was just dropping balls by Sam Darnold. Yes, that is the case, but also Sam Darnold, you need to fix that. You're the quarterback. It all falls on you at the end of the day. This is your team. You're at the kind of the most important position here. You must be a leader. You must, go other places with the ball. And if players are struggling, you need to put it on yourself to put the ball exactly 100% catchable with, velocity, spin and all that, having the right spin on the ball, placing it exactly where it needs to be. Your accuracy must be cleaned up 100% if players are dropping passes. Also, if they're dropping passes, then you must go to other places, find other players to get the ball to win the game. If your main guys are dropping the ball, it is up to you. You are the deliverer of the ball. I understand that drops definitely hurt this Panthers team, but we've got to stop making excuses. At some point, you just have to win the game. Lamar Jackson just won the game a couple of weeks ago against the Colts. Marquise Brown a couple weeks ago has been dropping touchdown passes. They've been working together to get that fixed as the season progresses. And, when they were down, it was Lamar Jackson against the Colts last week. Down 16 points, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. What did he do? He just put his nose to the grindstone, kept going, rushing, delivering the ball to targets that were trustworthy, like Mark Andrews. And Sam Darnold was not doing that this game consistently. So I don't want to hear no excuses on Sam Darnold, folks. Truly, the man is trash. I don't know what you want from me. The man cannot play unless he has an exorbitant amount of talent around him. And at that point, that doesn't make you good at that point. So Sam Darnold, an abysmal game. 17 of 41, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The touchdown, I'll give him there. The lead up to the touchdown, like we said, we'll give him. But let's see where this interception came from. Interception came. When did this interception come? What do we got? Oh, yeah, first play of the game. How could we forget? It was the first pass of the game, folks. The first play of the game here for Sam Darnold and this Panthers team is an interception, and then they get down 3-0. So the defense kept them into it a little bit. The Vikings had their fair share of turnovers as well. Once again, these are two not good teams going against each other right here, and somehow one of them won. I don't know. But we're not buying this Vikings team. Panthers fans, Sam Darnold believers, don't think we're just, shitting on Sam Darnold. No. We're going to be shitting on this Vikings team as well because, once again, I mean, they're trash as well. Turnovers and taking to the last moment to win the game and all that. But Sam Darnold, abysmal game. Chuba Hubbard, real solid performance, rushing the ball, 16 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Sam Darnold, y'all love calling this man a dual threat quarterback, so okay, he's the worst passing dual threat quarterback that there is. So you're not going to win here, folks. Sam Darnold's not a good quarterback, and then if you classify him as a dual threat quarterback, then he's the worst dual threat quarterback that there is. So don't try to kind of play the wording game to kind of make Sam Darnold better. The man is still not good, folks. Sam Darnold, 4 rushes for 48 yards. Who was he throwing to? He had DJ Moore, 5 receptions for 73 yards. He was targeted 13 times. Ian Thomas, 1 reception, 41 yards. Brandon Zlystra, 3 receptions, 32 yards. Shea Smith, 2 receptions, 20 yards. Alec Erickson, 1 reception, 17 yards. Robbie Anderson, 3 receptions, 11 yards and a touchdown. He was targeted 11 times. Robbie Anderson, get it together, please. So just nothing great here, consistent by this Panthers team, and they almost still won the game because the Vikings are equally as bad overall. Alrighty, let's talk about this Vikings team now. Holy cow, fumbles all over the place. Luckily, they didn't lose most of them because they fumbled like 4 times. But here we go. Kirk Cousins, let's talk about these quarterbacks first. Kirk Cousins goes 33 of 48 here. 68% completion percentage. Once again, folks, it's the anomaly here. It's the enigma that makes no sense. Kirk Cousins, great completion percentage, 373 yards, fantastic there. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, fantastic. Did he fumble? He fumbled but didn't lose it. Kirk Cousins fumbled, didn't lose it. D.D. Westbrook fumbled, didn't lose it. Dalvin Cook fumbled, didn't lose it. The usual suspects out here. Luckily, they didn't lose these fumbles. Justin Jefferson did fumble. That's the unusual suspect. He fumbled and lost it here, and that resulted into 7 points for the Panthers to kind of get them back in the game a little bit. It was still in the first quarter here when they were down 3-0, but that allowed them to get 7-3 and little momentum, little confidence here. Yeah, I mean, we know Kirk Cousins fumbles and intercepts the ball, at the worst timing. Same thing with Dalvin Cook. That's why, they have lackluster records overall because they turn the ball over at the worst time. Alrighty. All right, what else we got here? Rushing attack, Dalvin Cook, 29 carries for 140 yards and a touchdown. Once again, we know he's good, but he just fumbles. Once again, the enigma of Kirk Cousins. You got to get them off the team, folks. There's just something about them playing together that they bring out the worst of each other at the worst time here. But we'll give Dalvin Cook great credit for this. 29 carries, 140 yards and a touchdown. C.J. Ham, 1 carry for 30 yards. Kirk Cousins rushes 2 times for 16 yards. And then Alexander Madison, who has been filling in when Dalvin Cook hasn't been able to go. He only gets 3 carries for 10 yards. And then who was Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to? We got Adam Thielen, 11 receptions for 126 yards and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 8 receptions for 80 yards. So once again, going to his 2 main weapons. We know that's what Kirk Cousins does. That's not what we have our problems with this Vikings team. And then KJ Osborne, 6 receptions, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyler Conklin, 3 receptions, 71 yards. And then D.D. Westbrook, 2 receptions, 13 yards. But Kirk Cousins and company getting it done in overtime. Tie game in overtime. Obviously, they win the toss and they go down on a 9-play, 75-yard touchdown drive to seal the game. Don't even give the Panthers the ability to win the game. And once again, last week's emotions. Vikings versus the Lions. Dan Campbell cries at the podium. His team flounders. Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer, pumping each other up on the sideline. How y'all fucking like that? Exciting each other, shoving each other, getting pumped, and it comes back to win them this game when it's in overtime, when they have to go get it done. They go get it done, and that's what this Vikings team is. They win and lose close. They always put up the numbers. Most of the time they lose, and this Vikings team is the same team that we know they are. The enigma, the only enigma of the NFL, folks. But the Vikings get the win 34-28. Sam Darnold still flounders.